What's up, everyone? This video is to talk about version 2.2. I did a ton of fixes, couple of tweaks, couple of enhancements. So let's get into it. This is the third attempt I've tried this video because I was screwing around with settings in OBS, and each time it just user error on my part. Anyway, let's get into it. 2.2. I'm not going to go through all these fixes. Let's see. One of the fixes I've made is if you do a fresh install of LaunchBox and you use the theme creator and you point it to the fresh install, instead of coming up with an error window, it comes up with a friendly message now saying, if you plan to use a fresh install of LaunchBox, add at least one game to LaunchBox before using the theme creator, and then it exits gracefully. All right, that's one of the fixes. I've done like 16, 17 fixes within this particular build, which obviously I'll post in the description below the video. Couple of changes I've made to some UI elements, like the text wheels. I've changed all the presets, preset 2 through 8. You can now change the selected color or non-selected color, both foreground and background of the search index for platform and game views. Improve source code, user source or styling, error trapping. I've improved that a little bit. It's not where I would like it to be. I've still got some research to do to make it bulletproof. Let's see if I can give you an example by picking an existing. No. It's something that I haven't fixed. Now that looks perfect. Okay. Now this is a gotcha. If you've been copying any of my existing presets and tweak them up to, to personalize for your own look and feel, you will get this error message if you've copied any of the previous presets. You don't need this reference to static resource text to brush anymore. Okay, so when you get this and it refers to a line in error, basically this, and it's referring to static resource text to brush, don't freak out. Just simply edit the view, and it's essentially disabled that style. That's why it looks basic. So we just need to find it. Let's see. We've got all these to. Yeah, we've got the wheel. We go down. We go down to the style. All right. So it is a custom style. We go and find that offending line. Here it is. We don't need the reference to the converter. And that's it. You just want to make sure you've got this at for color in uppercase, at within double quotes. That's all you need. Okay? You don't need a reference to text to brush. And then you just save it. And then check designer friendly. And there you go. It works. So that is one gotcha potentially when you install this new version 2.2. If you do have custom styles for your text lists, okay? But as you saw, it was very easy to fix. And the reason for that is because you can actually now change the colors, the selected colors within the list itself, and you can even give them based on conditions. And then the search index, you can assign different colors to as well. So for example, I may want a yellow instead of a white for the search index. You know, it's entirely up to you. We'll publish this. So this is the wall. I'm so tired. Like I said, this is my third attempt. So hopefully the camera doesn't die. The wall. Why did I do that? The wall. Oh, he's got his own custom style. That's right. I totally forgot. My bad. Yeah. So he's got like a metallic selector for the search index. Yeah. Totally forgot. Totally forgot about that. All right. Never mind. One of the biggest changes to 2.2 is what I call smart binding. And again, if I just punch up a theme created by the same author, Rincewind, he has, I don't want this one, I want to go into a game view. He's used color conditioning everywhere. And we can find one example here. And he's using it twice, one for the effect and one for, I guess, the main color, either the forecolor or in this case the color tint. Okay. So, and he's using a color profile, which is something I had introduced, I believe, in version 2.0 and or 2.1, I forget. And but I now take this a lot further. All right, so he's referencing this color profile for multiple UI elements across his theme. Okay. So I'm going to publish. And then I cloned it, and the only change I made, and I just did this for speed, the only thing I did was I took his two color profile conditions, all right, and I checked this box, smart binding. All right, so this version of the theme, smart binding has been enabled, and I've got tooltip text there for this profile, and then he used a second one for the effects, this one. Okay, and I enabled smart binding on that one as well. All right, so all I'm going to do, so his original theme, smart binding, is not enabled, and then on the clone called smart binding, I've enabled it. All right, so I'm going to publish this one as well. And I'm going to run BigBox. color conditioning is the original one. So as you can see, as I spin through the different platforms, the platform view is changing. Okay. All right. Dynamically. And you know, it runs just fine. And then when I go into Sony PlayStation, we got a game view, and it's in that color. If I pick Steam, for example, go into Steam games, it's the same consistent color. All right, and that's fantastic. All right, so that's what color conditioning does, and it's linked to a profile, and that's perfect. But let's have a look at the code. So color conditioning, we want to have a look at the TextGamesView. All right. And we've got 3,279 lines of code. And just by hopping through the code, we can see all these conditions. So that's for rectangle 4. Then we've got rectangle 4 with exactly the same conditions. And then we've got rectangle 5, and then rectangle 6, and so on and so forth. All right, it's just built so many times. Rectangle 1, you know. All right, let's have a look at the one where I had enabled the profiles to use smart binding. TextGamesView. Down at the bottom, we've got 2,460 lines of code. And why is that? Well, here's our first UI element using the color profile, and it's setting the conditions. Yep. So that's rectangle 4, I believe. Now we got rectangle 5. Oh, where's all the conditions? Well, doesn't need them, because it recognizes the fact that this UI element is conditioned in exactly the same way as another UI element on the same profile. So all it's doing here is essentially bringing those colors in based on another UI element. So instead of defining all the conditions here that XAML would have to ultimately go through for every single UI element with all the different conditions, it just says, no, one UI element is essentially doing all the grunt work. All the other UI elements are just simply referring to that initial one. So ultimately what you get is less code and faster runtime. Let's see. So that was smart binding. Apologies for going through this very quickly. Again, back to the text list for games. We've got the favorite, and the favorite you can switch off. And you can switch it off because if you're doing your own custom styling for lists, then you may want your own graphic to represent your favorite game. So you need an option to disable the star, okay? And that's what I've done here. So you've got toggle on off. And I've changed the styling of the toggle switches within the UI elements, within the properties, if you hadn't noticed. All right, I've added a brand new UI element. It was a request from the forum, and I have I've included it in the theme components, which I'll share with version 2.2. And this is the first non-visual UI element for the theme creator. So it looks like just a regular icon. You can't resize it, can't angle it. You can move it around, but it doesn't mean anything. It won't display when you run it. in preview or when you run it in BigBox, so you won't see it. The number of properties associated with this are very, very limited. Essentially, all it's going to do is play an MP3. All right. So I've got a folder here, my media folder, that is just filled with platform names and platform category file names, all MP3s. Okay. And the reason I have visibility and conditioning, and I've got animation is only applicable for controlling the opacity, because if the UI element is not visible, it won't play. When you make it visible, it will attempt to play the corresponding MP3 file. If the opacity is 0, therefore it's invisible, it won't play. So by defining an animation, you can actually control when that MP3 will be played. So generally speaking, this is used when you're making a selection of a platform or a platform category and you've come to rest. You're not selecting anything. You've made a selection. You haven't pressed select or anything like that. You just finished scrolling up and down through the wheel or the list, and you've come to rest. As soon as you come to rest, it's entirely up to you. You can put a delay in. In this case, I'm saying delay 2 seconds before making this UI element the opacity 100%. As soon as I do that, it's going to attempt to play the MP3. All right, so I'm going to enable the PC speaker, and let's see what it does.
Sega Genesis, Sega Model 3,
and I can't hear anything.
Sega Model 2, Sega Dreamcast.
So as you can see, there's a slight delay.
Sega Model 2.
All right, and let me publish this and we'll play this in BigBox. Come on, where is it? There it is.
Steam-powered games. Sony PlayStation Portable.
So I'm spinning through the list. I come to rest.
Capcom Play System 3. Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
So that's where the animation comes in. I'm actually telling it, while I'm spinning through that list, make that UI element opacity value 0. While it's 0, it's not going to play an MP3, okay? Only when I come to rest.
Nintendo Entertainment System.
After 2 seconds, then play the MP3, okay? So that's really where that comes in. It just allows you to, fine-tune when you actually want that MP3 to be played. Otherwise, what would actually happen is if you didn't add the animation opacity values in there, as soon as I let go, it would have played the MP3. And that may not be something that you want, because you may have images kind of fading in or what have you, and you don't want the you may not necessarily want the audio to kick in while all this stuff is fading in. You want to queue it up. All right, so even if you wanted to delay it 0.5 seconds, at least you've got the ability to do that. So that's what that UI element is all about. Again, I mean, it's entirely up to you. You could have you could have different music being played for each platform if you want to do that. You know, it's entirely up to you. But that was a request from the forum, and it was relatively easy to kind of cobble together, and that's exactly what I've done. So if you find that useful, that's fantastic. And again, I'll ship
Nintendo
this theme,
64.
and that will include all the platform and category MP3 files. And like I said, it works with categories too.
Arcade. Computers. Handhelds. Consoles. Steam-powered games.
All right. So that is version 2.2. A lot of changes in this particular build. A lot of fixes. So hopefully you like this one. But so far the response has been very positive, extremely positive on the forum regarding version 2 and version 2.1. So and I'm starting to see new themes by new people actually being uploaded to the forum and with their associated project files as well. So it's great. Keep them coming. You know, keep the creativity going, the feedback going, and obviously keep sharing the project files. More and more new users either to LaunchBox, BigBox, or new users to theming are starting to pick up the software and pick up some of these project files and get to grips with the theme creator while tweaking up some of their favorite themes and customizing it for their own use, which I think is great. So and that's where it all starts, just playing around, see what you can do, and then before long, you know, you're building your own theme. So I'll be curious to see what some of these individuals end up coming up with. But yeah, I've got another slew of business trips scheduled for the first week of October. I'll be in Tennessee again, which means I'll have plenty of time in the evening in the hotel to work on some major enhancements. So it's going to be a while before I do the next video. So until then, take care of yourselves, and if you've got any questions regarding some of the changes, fixes, or what have you that I've got in this build, just shoot me a message on the forum. Okay? Don't use YouTube. I don't always see the comments, and sometimes the comments get blocked. So just post me a message directly via the LaunchBox forum. Okay? All right. So take care, and I'll see you in the next video.